Looking at it tonight, this thing has gotten out of control. Looking at the violence tonight, I think we got to make a reassessment.
Usually the National Guard is deployed at the request of the state governor. That was the case back in LA in 1992 after widespread violence and looting. Then President George H.W. Bush sent soldiers and Marines out onto the streets to restore calm and order after the Rodney King riots. The last time a president deployed troops without being asked by state officials was back in 1965, when President Lyndon B. Johnson used the National Guard to protect civil rights protesters during their march from Selma to Montgomery in the Deep South. Many critics believe Trump's actions are partly about his ongoing feud with Governor Newsom. The pair first clashed over wildfires in California in 2018 and then earlier this year. Newsom is a Democrat who's seen as a future presidential contender. But also this is about a president who has long sought to suppress protesters and label them as violent leftist radicals. Back in 2020, in the aftermath of the killing of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter protests, Trump deployed troops to fire tear gas at protesters outside the White House so he could stage this infamous photo opportunity. Trump critics will say this is the opportunity he has been waiting for, to say that Democrats cannot control their cities, that only he is addressing the issue of illegal immigration, and that perhaps he can really push executive powers, even invoking the Insurrection Act, which would allow him to use the military on US soil, a rarely used move.
On California, are you prepared to invoke the Insurrection Act?
Depends on whether or not there's an insurrection.
There is, sir?
No, but you have violent people, and we're not going to let them get away with it.
You're not planning to invoke that Insurrection Act. You still plan to send troops?
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was under Biden and his auto pen.
What is the bar for sending Marines to
the bar is what I think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
Sending active Marines on the table, sir. Secretary has
We're going to see what we need. We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order.
While Trump has ruled out the Insurrection Act for now, the week ahead will be crucial. 200 National Guard troops have been deployed so far, but Governor Newsom has formally requested that the Trump administration put the troops back under the state's command. He said Donald Trump needs to pull back. He needs to stand down.
Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it. I'll say it again. It's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk. This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership.
Whether he will remains to be seen, especially given just after midnight, Trump wrote on Truth Social, "Bring in the troops."